Test 1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, everybody? This is the Tom Carlson Show, old school, no music, for Tuesday, July 2020. How the hell are ya? I am podcasting from my mother's sewing room / guest room. And so there's a lot of carpet, drapery, and probably pretty good audio. But this will be my last podcast from the great state of Idaho. And let me tell you what, I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Just kidding. It's been great. I was trying to do one of these shows last Thursday because that's kind of been the routine, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Ideally, Tuesday, I do a little deeper dive into something. I actually, to be honest, I tried to do 2 of them, and I made it about 20 minutes through on both, and I was just like, this is just trash, dude. There's nothing new that I'm saying. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna put that out. So maybe while I'm visiting family, we'll just do one a week, you know? But since then, let me tell you, I have all kinds of things to talk about. Non-corona things, thank God. And let's see, last time I played golf for the first time in 10 months. And then on Wednesday of last week, I was in McCall. My parents had gone down. I was up at the cabin by myself, and ended up without a car because me, planner. And my dad was like, got a tee time for down in Boise, which is like 3 hours away. And I was like, all right, I'll figure out a way to get down there. And I just told him to get the tee time. And McCall's like in the middle of nowhere, and so I started looking at my options. There's no national Avis, so I was like, you know what I could do? I could get a U-Haul, and because when I saw it online, the rates were pretty cheap. But eventually, it got to the point where I couldn't get a pickup. I was gonna have to rent a 26-foot U-Haul shipping van, and I was just like, am I really gonna do this to go play golf? And I was like, damn right I am. So I drove down. No, I'm just kidding. There's a cool shop up there. It's called McCall Auto Club. And they got banging old, they had like a 56. I'm not into the cars, but if I had to guess, it was like a 1956 Monte Carlo with just all perfect paint job, everything. And they have several of those. And they have some fun cars too, like sports cars, E for Idaho. So like an M6, but I ended up driving down with the old mechanics lender Honda Fit. It was great. It worked out great though. So came down, played golf, and this is the second time in my life this has happened. Jimbo was there for the first, so hopefully now that I'm broadcasting on Spotify, you can listen. Jim will be like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was terrible. I wish I didn't invite him to come play. So I was with my buddy Jim, and I think we went to go play Quail Hollow. And I mean, I started hitting it on the range. I started shanking everything. Like the consistency with which ball met hosel. It's like Guinness Book of World Record stuff. How consistent I could do it. So I quit that one after 9 holes. And then I came all the way down, like Dumb and Dumber almost, with the U-Haul. And I'm coming to play like my dad's favorite course. And first shot off the tee, shank. And I'm like, oh no, it's happening again. And I shot 8 over. Sorry, I was having some technical things there I'm having to deal with in the background. So excuse the extended pauses. But shanked the first one off the tee, and I was like, "Oh no, this is really gonna happen. I'm gonna spend $150 on a rental car, a Honda Fit rental car, to go play one of the nicest courses in town with my dad, and I'm gonna shank and have to quit." And so I was 8 over for the first 3 holes. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to grind. And not so many months or years ago, I would have quit maybe after the 3rd hole and said, fuck this. This is stupid. Why am I even out here? But I was like, you know what? I put hours of time into just getting to the course. I was like, I'm going to grind this thing out. And I think I ended up with like an 86. I don't know. I got a little better. But I don't know why that keeps happening. If someone knows, let me know. Last I heard was it's like you're like 98% away. You're like, no, it's like a 98% perfect swing. And you're just somehow just a fraction off. But I don't know what I'm doing. And so now I'm like, there's a lot of golf nerd shit here. I'm trap drawing the ball so I don't allow my hosel even get close to it. So I'm hitting every shot with like the toe and turning it down. So it's just like, what? So then go back up to the mountains, right? And this time my entire family was there. And when I say that, I mean mom and pa, older sister, younger sister, and brother-in-law and new nephew, Charlie. And it was pretty cool. Like, I was a little anxious, I hadn't been back with my whole family, especially with the new one, in like at least like a year. Because I came back in February briefly for like a day because I was going out to a wedding, a psychotic wedding, dude. It was one of the craziest, coolest ones I've ever been to. I don't know if anyone will ever be able to compare to that, but I digress. And the whole family time worked out pretty good. I was very like happy at the end of it. Like, back in the days, like, well, obviously if I'm drinking like a maniac, things get said and stuff, and I'm like, and nothing bad happened. So it was all cool. Like, we just and it's weird. Like, it's easier to get together as a family at a destination as opposed to like a house. I don't know why, but like there's stuff to go do, so you're not like trapped in with them all too long. You can get your space and stuff. But fortunately, my little nephew here is like the chillest baby ever, and he sleeps like hell, and is cool. So that was like my first, am I 30 years old, real experience handling a baby. So passed the test. And what else did we do up there? New baby. I figured out how to play Risk, and played cards, and then golfed one more time. Man, I'm trying to get as much golf as I can in. And I started off okay. It was like 7:50 in the morning. A little tight, but shot 40, and then I shot like 45, right? And I was like, ugh. So I was like, I don't know how much, energy I can put into having a decent golf game when I'm playing once a year. Yeah. So, when I was trying to do the show last week, I was thinking of like what new things I'm going to be saying. I mean, it was nice when we went up to Central Idaho for a little getaway, and it's just like we're not watching really the news, but I'll like check in every now and then, while it's on, while we're cooking dinner and stuff, and it's just the same thing every day. So I was like, all right, we got to do some different shit here. Yeah, things do pique my interest, like Ghislaine and stuff like that, and COVID and all that shit's in our face as it is, and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff needs to be discussed. But I think as far as content goes, people are probably ready for, some different shit. And by that, I don't know, maybe we'll have some monologues coming out here pretty soon. Maybe some late night type material. I did see, dude, did you goddamn see this? The fucking Chainsmokers had a concert in Southampton on last Saturday, and it was just like a regular concert. I was like, what the fuck? Apparently, I don't know how it got happened, people with money or whatever, but dude, like, the Chainsmokers would do that. If you like the Chainsmokers, you're part of the COVID problem. They are the Pizza Hut of music. You know, it's like, will you have it? I'll eat like part of a breadstick for like one or two songs, which, for the record, is like all of the songs they've ever written. So, I don't know. I was in New York, and it's just like someone was bringing up the fact that it was like, you know, what's the difference between having this and having, you know, protests? Well, from what I mean, a lot of the protests, at least in New York, people were having masks on. It was pretty good as far as that goes. I don't think anyone here was wearing a mask. So, Chainsmokers, I hope you get in trouble for this and you can never make music again. Dun, dun, dun. Whatever they got. Oh God, the Chainsmokers. I couldn't have happened to a better group of. They could be fine guys, but that music is such trash. They're the kind of people that I've seen people snap their concerts, and it's like the music is so bad they have to bring to every show these motorcycle riders that run around in 360s and, you know, in this steel ball. It's just like, what is this? Are we listening to music, or is this like a freak show? So, yeah. I have been watching because I've watched everything. You know, I've finally kind of got things set up as far as what I'm looking for in as far as the job front goes, because my money's gonna stop coming to me for the Corona help. So, what is the saying? It's where something meets the grindstone, where my ass meets the grindstone. So I'm applying for jobs, and where the fuck was I going with that? Oh, I was like, what are we supposed to do with the unemployment? Blah, 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 blah. So the money's running out, and so I don't know how many. I mean, I gotta get a job probably within about 30 days, or else I'm pretty much fucked. I think I'll be okay, but you know, there's gonna be such a significant amount of people without work in New York who are just not gonna be able to pay their rent, and I mean, from what I've heard, 30% of people haven't been paying rent since like the start of COVID, but they're protected. So, I mean, landlords are going to be, and it's really hard to get people out of their place in New York, but I'm just curious what is going to happen when, you know, the 600 extra bucks a week is out of people's, you know, checking account. So part of the reason, we'll focus on one show is I need to get some stability under myself. So give me a shout out if you got any ideas. Guess what I did, and then, you know, one thing that has increased while being unemployed is, you know, I guess my fitness, but I don't do it to like be in shape. I do it so my mind stops worrying so much. So yesterday I ran 11.3 miles, dude. I've never ran even anywhere close to that. So I was up in the mountains. I was like, well, I've always wanted to try to do this, but I have diabetes, and so one of the things with that is when you exert yourself really hard, your body needs energy, right? And so it's going to pull, and I'm not a doctor, obviously, but it's going to pull, you know, the immediate glucose, you know, your sugar from your system to fire to your muscles. And so what happens with diabetics is, you know, their blood sugar just plummets, right? And if your blood sugar plummets, you pass out. I mean, you could end up dying. Your brain gets fried. There's bad things. But now I had like a team. So I had my brother-in-law. I ran out for like 4 miles, and he came up behind me with this Razor, you know, 4-wheel thing. And then I just like sucked down Capri Sun. So I was walking for like 2 to 4 minutes or so. And I picked back up. He got me in another like 4 miles, Capri Sun, a little bit of walk. And then I ran out the end. And then I pretty much hit the wall at the 10-mile mark. And And I was actually going for 13.1 just so I could say when I drive past people that I did that, when they have it on their car. So that was pretty wild. My outside of my knees hurt, like in an odd, like pinchy way the next morning. But other than that, it seemed pretty fine. So look at that. A diabetic alcoholic addict can run 11.3 miles. Who would have thought? I think I said earlier, this will be my last show in Idaho. And then I'm heading back to the city soon. So it's weird when by the way, the local news here, and I guess this has happened in 30 other states, is mystery seeds from China. What do you think's going on with that? These people in 30 states or so are getting mailed seeds, and they don't know what they are. And it says made in China. And I think it's for jewelry is what I heard. The bag says. And so I was just like, this is it, man. It's tied right into Corona, the China virus. Chinese are sending us seeds that people are going to grow. And then the virus is going to mutate when they pollinate. And then anyone who doesn't have a set of ventilators in their home will die. So that's going to happen right before the vaccines get here. So I think I figured it out, guys. Might as well go to a Chainsmokers show. But some of the good things about being back home, things actually going well. Like like I said earlier, I was kind of surprised. Usually shit happens. Like I think it does in most families. But like my mom is this wonderful woman. And she's Southern as, what do they say? Southern as, like, a bullfrog on a catfish. And, they come from a way of life down there where, like, it's very, my mom was an accountant and then she was the housewife. And she knew how to do all that really well. And so, like, I've been coming back and eating, like, 3, full meals a day, Breakfast, I have, like, muffins, or not muffins, but, like, biscuits she makes. There's always, like, bacon and stuff. Then lunch, I'll have a full lunch. And then I'll have dinner with the fam, say a prayer. It's really... I don't know what you would call it. It's, that's kind of, it's why I don't shit on church or, any of those things. It's like, it's very reflective, it's reflective, can be comforting. I can get my home cooked meals, even though I've lost a ton of weight since I came out here. I don't know what that's about. It's probably just the elevation, right? And, I'm slightly lighter at this elevation and I don't think the scales are picking up on it. So our Mac might be weighing more than me very soon. The guy's turning into a real beefcake. Yeah. So I have been watching, because I've watched everything else there is on Netflix. There is on Hulu. Toast of London is a great show. If you haven't seen that, it's on Netflix. And I went back to the old faithful, dude, because I remember watching this as a kid, and I hadn't seen it in like a decade. Forensic Files. It's on Hulu and Netflix, and it's good in so many ways. First of all, you get an entire murder, assault story from start to end in 22 minutes, and there's nothing really more captivating than someone taking another person's life, And I don't remember any of them. I just remember, like, the effects from when I was a kid. Like, how they... Dude, it's really old school. And then at the end, they're always, like... It's almost like a Disney Channel, a Discovery Channel Bill Nye thing, where they're, like, really promoting science and using forensic technology like they were having to argue for it back in the day. But one of the crazy things, especially this time in society, is... It's really crazy to watch. So I started watching like the first season, which is sometime in the 90s. And one of the things, I wrote down one. I could have written down a million. And they're describing this woman who was killed as the prettiest white prostitute on the block. And it's just like, and it didn't even no one even registered why that was different, that you're distinguishing a woman, or you're describing a woman via her race and profession like that. And it's just, there's a million of them. And it makes you think, like, what you're saying now being out of line in a way that you would have never comprehended at the time. So I think you also need to listen to that and be like, oh, these people literally were, it's almost like a subconscious language learned, really. And so I think, well, I don't know what you call the study of like words and language and how things are entrenched into people's minds at such an age, but I thought that was fun. What do we got? I've been doing, I got my resume cover letter. I'm doing that now. I am a struggling artist trying to make some money the old-fashioned way by working a real job. And here's the thing. So I don't think I told this. So my plan all along has been to go full force into stand-up comedy, and so I've got a ton of that stuff ready, but I kind of need Corona to go away so they can open clubs and bars and stuff, so I can at least get it tried out and figure out what I need to work on and get better at. But right now I'm just kind of sitting in a floating pattern with that goes. Podcast is great, but there's no audience, so it's not. I'm not going to be telling jokes on the podcast. I may say something, as a reference or something, but it's not a joke. So my plan all along was, all right, we're going to get going with the comedy. I'll start doing that. And I'm just going to do as many of those as I can. Eventually try and start making money via, doing spots. And then also, networking with the people there and seeing where else I can work creatively and get paid, even if it's just assisting with set stuff, whatever, just make money kind of, with my, labor, so to say. And then I'd get a job at, a restaurant or something. But, so I was not going to go back to where I was working previously. I had made it. I've hated authority since I was 3 years old. I ran away to not go to kindergarten. I don't like people telling me what to do. And not that I don't believe that they know, they've been there and stuff. There's something about me doing something because someone told me to that I've always had a horrible time with. And that's why I really hated school and all that. I was telling my mom the other day that there's probably 10 to 15 minutes of school. This is junior high through high school that I actually appreciated and, got something out of. And the rest, I'm just waiting. I'm just passing time, hating everything, hating the fact that it wasn't my choice to learn these things, hating the social environment, hating all of it. So, and then was never really able to dive in, and I never understood why it was like that. But I understand myself a little better now, and tough Tommy boy. You gotta do what you gotta do to work. Yes, but if I wasn't going to be doing comedy, I still don't want someone telling me what to do. So I think I'd probably get the hell out of New York and start my own company, do something where it's my hand is in the game, and then I have an interest in the success of a company. So I was so tired of having a boss and stuff that I wanted to just get out of that. And so what I was going to do, long story longer, was, I was furloughed till, they were going to say, to the end of July, which is coming up here. And so I had my benefits. And then a couple days ago, I got a call that they were like, all right, we got to lay you off. Sorry. But they weren't able to bring me back. because, I would say 85% of their work is in New York City, and 80% of that work is retail, and everybody's just in that side of the economy is just waiting to see what happens. To be honest, I don't know why retailers are still building stores. It boggles my mind. The last project I was working on was a Target, I did work on a Target, but a Levi's, excuse me. Like, why? There's always an argument on why to have brick and mortar stores, but my goal was to come back, get my last like week or so of like PTO or something like that, and then quit the corporate world forever in spectacular fashion. And I never got the chance. No one ever gets the chance to do that. It's always, you got to quit. Like, that's what I did at my other job. And I actually had a great, exit interview with them at my previous job. And they're still very cordial with me and, want the best for me. But it's always like you're quitting and you're like respectful and all of that. And I wasn't going to be like disrespectful or anything, but in the GC world, it's really cutthroat. And so when people leave, you don't get your 2 weeks. You put in your 2 weeks and then they fire you. And so I was going to do that, just be like, so long, you can fire me now. But I didn't get to do that. And so, it's very, seems like poetic and appropriate for the way my life has gone to this far. But, I was watching with my dad last night. It's a great running documentary. Shout out to Sammy Boy, called "Running on the Sun," and I think it's late '90s, but it's great. And it's about the people who do the Badwater 135. And nothing. I'm turning into less of a comedian, more of a motivational speaker at this point. But anything in life, at least for me, requires sacrifice and struggle. Anything like ever is good. I can't. I'd love to have millions of dollars. I would take that in a heartbeat over struggle and all that. But there is something to knowing, and I did it once before when I came to New York. I just do it again. But knowing like it's go time, and you got your plan ready to go. You've done as much as you possibly could for yourself that day, today. Even if you didn't, even if you had an off day, you still remember that tomorrow's a new day, and you wake up and you have that in your mind before you go to sleep. You get your mind right before you go to sleep, and then you go to bed, ideally without any sleep medication, because you want to remember that thought, like tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to do everything I can for myself tomorrow. And then you wake up, you have that thought, you get out of bed, you make your bed, all that shit, and you get going, man. So anyways, that's pretty much what I'll be doing. Can't wait to get back into New York. I really love the city, and I'm gonna have to do my quarantine and everything, but I'll get back at it. I'll be here. Probably doing one podcast a week while we get things settled, and maybe there'll be a secret one here or there. Maybe there'll be some other things popping up on Instagram. Maybe there'll be some collab stuff. What's up, Morgan? And yeah, man. Tomorrow will be a great day for you. Just get your mind right, and promise yourself that you'll do everything you can to help yourself. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk to you back in the